Myron, I'm just going to start with this, okay? President Trump is right about the crisis at our southern border, and it is a national emergency. He is wrong to address that emergency using tariffs. Really?
Yes. I mean,
okay, what happened,
there's
though?
no question.
In the end, is how you like the deal? Is the deal that came better than the deal we had, and did this somehow get them off of the snide or whatever
Joe, the
it's
two
called?
governments have been working together to try to resolve the migration.
But it didn't happen.
Both at the southern border of the United States as well as the southern border of Mexico. We need to deal with that challenge. And frankly, we've got to get to the root cause. We've got to deal with the economic issues that are causing the migration challenge. But the weaponization of tariffs, the increase of threats on our economy, on our farmers, our manufacturers, our consumers, is going to hurt our country. It also creates uncertainty, Joe, with our trading partners, both in Europe and Japan, where we want to get deals. And frankly, it complicates the waters of trying to get something done with China.
We didn't invent tariffs. And the tariffs are already on in a lot of the places where we're responding finally with some tariffs. And, when you see year after year after year of nothing happen using whatever, let's talk to our trading partners, let's get them involved. And then finally you try this, and Becky's favorite word is cudgel. Yeah. If they were never going to go on, and he knew this, but once we're doing it with China and they're already on, Mexico didn't know. And if he says he's going to do it, Mexico's down there going, oh, he's going to do it, he's going to do it. And then they come to the table, 6,000 National Guard troops, they do this, that, and the other thing. How can you just say...
They came to the table, Joe, because it's in their interest to resolve this migration challenge.
How about they go... Then
it's in Mexico's interest. The bottom line is every time we threaten tariffs...
Never works. Under no circumstances.
I'm going to tell you that tariffs are not the way we want to go. We do need to force the hand of China. We need to address unfair trade practices. There's a lot of ways. We got to protect our technology. We got to sign trade agreements with other partners. We got to put pressure on China directly.
Let me
just add one more quick thing.
Yeah.
What's the ultimate goal here? We want to get the USMCA passed, the new NAFTA, right? We want to get that through the Congress. Threatening Mexico is not a way to get this through the U.S. Congress. So we've got to address the fundamental causes of the migration challenge, but we got to also focus on what we can do to get the USMCA passed through the Congress this summer, well before the election season.
That would be my bigger concern. Even if you get one-off wins where you feel like you got some additional leverage squeezed out of people, what have we done in terms of creating uncertainty for what any of these trade negotiations or any of these trade deals are actually worth if even when you get this, you have the president continuing to say, okay, if we don't like what we're seeing, the tariffs will come back anyway. It's just creates
Becky,
that
everyone's watching. The world is watching what we do with Mexico.
The world that already had tariffs on us.
Look,
and
we have the potential of more tariffs.
Have we been watching
at a higher rate?
That's why
we have the potential of more tariffs at a higher rate than India, which is one of the most protectionist countries in the world. If we go down this road and start to have more tariffs on China, tariffs on India, tariffs on Mexico,
Myron,
we could be talking about $1 trillion.
You don't think there's anything to the notion that we've been sitting here like patsies while everybody has tariffs on us, and we're like, thank you, sir, may I have another?
No, we don't want to. We don't want to do that. We want to move ahead with Mexico and Canada, get a good agreement that will protect intellectual property rights, that will advance the digital age, that will give us modern rules for the three countries to work together in a competitive fashion. So we want to move ahead with USMCA.
Okay, let's say just
China is a separate issue.
Hypothetical. Okay, China, then you can at least admit that this isn't a statement you can make all the time. If the means to the end is that places that had tariffs against us for years and years and years, if after this the world goes to zero tariffs, would you then say, I was wrong and we should have used the tariff tool to not just sit there and take them unilaterally, but actually threaten to respond in kind so that the tariffs come down across? Would you then say, you know what, I was wrong, and I'm glad that they're gone now and that we did this tactic?
Look, when we eliminate all tariffs around the world, I'm happy to come back on the show and have another conversation.
Business guys,
I'm focused on where we are today.
I know,
not where we are tomorrow.
Business lobbying
today,
we don't want a 1/4 of business to be impacted when this is a 20-year fight against China for global hegemony. You don't want a 2-week period where your businesses aren't able to totally get all the money that. So what
I'm the first one to
for the country long term?
I'm the first one to acknowledge that we've had problems in the U.S.-China relationship. I've been involved for 30 years.
Can you give us a
There's
week?
no question.
How about a month?
They're stealing our IP. There's no question they're forcing our technology. We've got to change the game there.
I understand. One
So we
quarter
gotta
and you guys
address
are
that.
ready. Oh, my God, a quarter. What? I mean,
no,
there are some long-term interests for all of us.
I'm worried about the
with
market.
this.
I'm worried about the impact on farmers. I'm worried about the impact on manufacturers, supply chains, and I'm certainly worried about the consumers who are going to pay a higher price when tariffs are kicked
Eventually.
in.
They haven't yet.
You think this is going to take years to work out? This is probably not something
Well, which
that's
issue?
going to be
You
resolved
mean
at G20.
Mexico? No.
I'm talking China. I'm talking China.
China's going to take a while. Look, we have an opportunity with the G20 coming up in Osaka.
Yeah,
the two presidents are going to meet.
Not
They're not going to get a deal done.
China's minister today was saying they won't even.
But I think at the end of the day, they're going to meet because the signal to the world, if they don't meet, is very bad. I think they're going to have to recommit and recalibrate, and each side are going to have to blink. Because at the end of the day, we're going to need a deal between China and the United States because it's not only in our interest, it's in the world's interest to see China and the United States not fracture the world trading system.
Mike, what do you think happens to the markets if they don't meet at G20?
Tell me where the markets are before they
right beforehand.
The schedule. Yeah, I mean, that's going to tell you something. I think the markets actually are kind of maybe okay without the next round of tariffs.
But that's what we're facing.
Exactly.
See, we've
But
got
it's a
another
discretionary
$300 billion
decision.
of
It's not
exports
automatic.
that could go on after the G20 if we don't see progress in this relationship. And then China retaliates. They don't retaliate with tariffs. They hold back licensing. They tighten the ICT regulations. They make it more difficult for tech firms to be suppliers of Chinese companies. They'll tighten the screws. They won't do it through tariffs because they don't have that capacity, but they'll do it in other ways.
Market rallies.
And that's what
every
I worry
time
about.
It seems like the White House maybe is softening its position. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.